just
Yeah.
supposed to go down the stairs.
Yeah, perfect.
I looked, the lights are out, so. I was
That's-
thinking, and she yelled at me around here,
We'll
so.
fix this video in just a second.
A little close, but I made it.
Hello, how are you?
Good,
That is not the right button.
How's summer treating everyone?
There it is.
darn on this. TV stuff.
Yeah, I made the
Yeah.
news.
I saw that,
That's
yeah.
very impressive.
Apparently. She's an impressive one. I just
Yeah,
coached
yeah,
her.
There we go.
Seems good to see him interview somebody with a brain, because when they go to a problem place, I said, where do they get, my wife said, where do they get these people? Normal people won't get interviewed. That's just other people who wanna be, on, you know.
Yeah.
so.
It's always a funny one, like, you go through the interview and you're like, what are they gonna cut? You know, what are they gonna
Yeah,
pull?
yeah, what are they gonna?
I'm like,
pull?
oh, they pulled that, all right. Saw Tim driving over, so he won't be around.
Yeah, he's upstairs.
He's here.
Okay, good.
He'll be right down.
Yeah, no worries. Everyone's Tuesday. Glorious.
Yeah, jeez, Tuesday.
What's Julia doing?
What's that?
Which one's your niece? Is it Bella or Julia?
I don't know.
Which one's your niece? Who's the swimmer that's your niece?
Here am I. I'm sorry, you're on my worst side.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have two bad ears, this is the worst one.
Yeah. Which swimmer is your niece?
Well, I had two nieces, but it was, oh, God, man, why put me on the spot?
Oh.
Terrible. If you wouldn't ask me, Angelina Demena,
Yeah, yeah.
doing?
Angie and Julia.
Julia, yeah.
Is Julie down in Florida now? Do you know?
Yeah, last I knew when I talked to my brother-in-law, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of,
Angelina went to
they're both mad water.
Madrid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she graduated with my son.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Julia,
I might forward you
Michigan.
Michigan, you get it on the
either
screen.
Michigan
Yeah.
State or one of them.
Yeah,
Right.
doing,
Not the big.
no, but
one,
doing PT work.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing
got
athletic
her
training.
as a job, yeah.
Yeah.
She's worked hard at it,
Yeah, she was always driven.
yeah.
Angie was
you know.
very driven. Okay.
And Julia is kind of the opposite.
Julia was gonna go her own way.
She still is.
She still is. There's Julia. Entertaining to coach, that's for sure.
You talking about track stars?
Talking about swimming right now.
Oh, swimming.
Yeah.
Wasn't Julia a runner too?
Julia Demena? No, you're thinking about
No.
Julia Bissett.
She did, I think she played softball, maybe a little bit.
Softball and cheered.
Yeah.
She did cheer for 4 years too.
Yeah.
All right, at 7 o'clock, let's get rolling, okay? Fabulous. First on our docket tonight is Drex Subs. To refresh our memory where we were with that last time, we've heard about their application. They are applying for 2 separate roof signs, both of which are gonna require a use variance. The front sign, they want to shrink the size from the current one, but turn it 90 degrees, okay? Okay, and the back one, they just want to put a brand new sign right on the roof there. Okay, that's the back one.
Mhm.
Okay. So, yeah, hold your corner. Put
Oh, I can do that,
Yeah,
yeah.
hold your corner. There.
Sorry.
That's what I was gonna do. I was like, no, no.
Got it.
That's why I sat over here, Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's work over there.
Yeah, fewer questions over there, apparently.
You have to bring the easel.
Apparently. I think Emma's seen all this.
Couple times.
That's right. Alright. Yeah, you should put your hands on that mic.
There you go.
Emma, remind me your last name so I can put it in the.
Slate.
Thank you.
Yep.
If I had a picture of it, but I think they're all right.
Okay, good. Okay. So. This is again a use variance, which does require basically a full conversation about it. Does anyone have any questions before we dig into what's going on, like what they want to do?
Are these 2 separate issues or are they the same issue?
These are under one application.
One application.
I would like to discuss them as 2 separate issues.
Okay. So I didn't mean to-
No. Like, what do you guys think? That work for everyone? Discussing those, like each sign and address each sign and kind of update how it, do pass one with the conditions. So now like lumping all together, because we want to choose that.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
They're up here.
Um, that's kind of where we are, guys. I don't know what
I'm having a hard time hearing you. I don't know if it's like the microphone is muffled by something, maybe.
Oh, you know what? I bet I know what it is. Give me one sec. No, it's section meeting alpha.
Okay, I can hear you fine. I just can't hear anyone else in the room really.
Maybe we should put the owl in the middle of the table. Is that possible?
Yeah, you can move it over further, or the sound might just be.
Let's move it over and see how the sound is.
Let me see if I can adjust the audio setting too. Moving alpha, yeah, it's like input volume. What the heck?
it doesn't want to do anything. Okay.
Sounds like.
It sounds better now. I can hear you better.
Okay.
Try that.
Can you hear Pete? He's the furthest away. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. All right, perfect. All right, so we don't have many questions. Reference, basically remind ourselves of how much we see. So let's go ahead and just like here's the use variance tests. Roll through. Reason to return, alleged hardship, unique. Neighborhood and self-created. Okay. Decide to pass anything. Of course, we have the option. Conditions. Okay, if we like play, it could be text. All right. Let's talk. And the reason we put on the application itself talks about particular nature of the sign, the visibility. Okay. Basically, it's lost as a current sign. Claim it's not visible from the road. It's there until you're basically passing. I believe that during the meeting last time, it was stated. Statement. Yeah. We are adding that parking. It was denied for a couple things. The change in orientation was a change in use.
So it's essentially.
Yeah, so they can, I mean, if they want to go through.
Basically, roofs.
Glad we're moving on. This is just the front. The- Turning my front. But yeah, that's the only one. So, all right. If granted, hopefully the essential. The only thing I want about is walking up to in the village gas station. The restaurants, the buildings. The other thing is shading aspect of the sign itself, location itself is lower. So sign shading. It's not so much me, it's trying to increase the visibility. Raised it. Existence, location. I mean, it was just a thought. Changing. So the sign's gonna change. Right, Emma? Sign, but I mean, sign's gonna go to
I can't hear you at all.
useless.
It just sounds like it's like glitching or something. I don't know. The video isn't glitching, but I can't hear. It sounds choppy. I didn't want to interrupt you because I could tell you were speaking, but I can't hear anything that's being said.
Cable TV here in Canton.
Yeah, just glitchy.
That is really bizarre.
Check all our cables around.
Yeah, I, underneath there, I just make sure they're plugged in all the way.
Good. Still good?
That's muting it.
Don't mute it.
It stopped.
Okay.
Oh, no. Yeah.
You're not allowed,
Okay,
you're not
is
allowed
that
to touch
better?
anything anymore.
Or-
No, no more talking either from
Can
me.
you hear us?
I can hear you perfect right now, but. So what was your question?
My question for you was the logo is gonna change regardless of what we do, right?
Yeah, I mean, based on whatever we can get as a sign.
Right, yep. I was talking about the part where I was choppy. I was thinking about the height of the current sign and how it's currently, if you look at your renderings, you can see the edge of the sign hidden behind your own roof line. So the question is whether it necessitates a 90 degrees change or just a height change on the placement of the sign itself. If it gets raised up, does it create the same visibility as opposed to 90?
I don't think so, based on when Bill and I were walking from the building that you're in now towards the Canton Drex location. You really can't see the roof sign until you're at a certain angle. And what we're hoping to do is put it perpendicular so that it protrudes from the building enough so that it catches your eye as you drive by.
Okay.
In the application. So you can, similar to that.
Right. It's basically it's making it clearly visible over that.
Yeah.
Over that entryway roof change,
That roof line.
that roof line. And that's the roof line that's, I think that's shading it, but that's just,
If they just wanted to raise the original sign higher, would that be allowed?
well, that would be a condition we could put in play. If we feel like that would be a suitable alternative, we could say that's a condition we want. It might look a little funky because it'd be like, putting a big sign on posts, right? Okay. Well, do we feel like the application, if the use is requested to turn the sign 90 degrees, does it alter the essential character of the neighborhood? That was the question before us. Okay. And then the fourth question was the alleged hardship's been self-created. Okay. Was the property, have they changed the usage of the property? Has anything really changed for them that created this situation for direct subs? Or is this a situation that was just kind of evolved and they want to change? That's a question for us. Okay. Okay. Any general thoughts or questions on the front sign? You guys want to talk about the back sign now too, and then go through and actually try to vote on some of these things, or do you guys want to stay on the front sign?
I guess I just want to ask, at least for the front sign, is it going to be lit?
The front sign will be lit. Emma, is it the same sort of backlit structure that you have now in terms of the lighting on the sign?
Yes, but Bill did say that the light can be adjusted to whatever brightness you guys require.
Okay, so lumens would be managed, or well, we learned a new one last time.
Nits.
Nits, thank you.
Yeah,
We can adjust the nits. Nits are based on a certain number of candles. Yeah, candle does, it's a candle with luminant distance. Yeah, you could.
Get away.
Yeah, you can nitpick it. Yep. Yeah, so it would be lit, it would be managed based on our existing, we figure out the light lumens that are required, the candles. All right. Thoughts on the front sign or move to back sign?
To the front first and then we don't get no confused.
Okay,
I don't,
I don't want to confuse them.
I know.
No. All right. So let's look at that front sign, okay? And the fun game, what we'll do is we'll go through each of these signs here. And then we will go through and I'll summarize how we're handling the overall application. Okay. You guys can debate with me how they want to. Okay. The applicant cannot realize a reasonable return and should provide competent financial evidence. Lack of return must be substantial. What do you guys think? Yes? No?
Well, they seem to think get them more business. I drive by that. It is going there. Track, so I never look out. Yeah, so. Somebody passes through.
I think a meeting 2 weeks ago, you don't, in terms of the franchise owner, you don't have a similar store like this. The rest of them are more in strip malls and things like that.
Some are in strip malls and some are freestanding, like on a corner lot. This is kind of a unique one because it's like sandwiched between other buildings.
Okay. So just in terms of tracking sales, you really don't have a apples to apples comparison. You do, your other stores are probably doing more business because they're more visible and parking's easier.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you guys think about that one? Okay. Kind of on the fence on that, like,
I'm on the fence. I'm not an expert in this area.
Yeah.
If they think it's gonna help, then,
Yeah.
I have to believe
Yeah.
their market research. I don't.
I mean,
I can't
on the
disagree.
surface, it makes sense.
Sure.
You've got a sign that goes this way that you have to, drive by to see versus one that would be this way that you could see coming up.
Coming up the street, yeah.
Up Main Street or coming from the other, well, maybe not so much from the other direction because it's probably blocked a little bit by the marquee of the theater.
yeah, and going through the intersection, so you're less likely to be looking left to
Right.
figure out where to stop if you're
Yeah,
getting through that
but
intersection.
certainly,
Driving up or down Main, yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
I don't feel they're asking for a whole lot. They
Yeah.
don't just turn a sign. I mean,
it's already a rooftop sign.
if they went and did that, and Tim had approved it in the beginning, they probably wouldn't, nobody ever know that it happened, unless they're watching and put the sign up.
Well, that's not what I want to hear. I want to hear you say everybody would be stopping in.
Think about us local people that know it's Drex all the time.
everyone would be
Not the
stopping.
people you're trying to hit. I guess I should have rephrased that a little bit.
Of course, it is the highway.
Yeah.
You get a lot of people. I mean, it's the only road between Plattsburgh and
Watertown.
Watertown.
Yeah. Very true. Okay. Okay. The alleged hardship relating to the property is unique. Is this the only situation we're encountered dealing with a rooftop sign on the Main Street strip?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much unique, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, now this is the front, we're just dealing with the front. Requested use variance, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood.
I don't think so.
No, it's already a sign there.
Yeah. It's already on the roof.
What do you guys feel about the both logo and directionality of the sign? The parking and rear up on top of the roof. Problem with that, are we pretty much comfortable with both direct subs and parking and rear on that roof? I don't pretty much.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
seems reasonable to me.
Changing the logo, that's fine.
Yep.
It's their business.
And they're, as long as they're, you know, with the, what is it, three colors?
Yeah,
in the village?
yeah, it's the historic colors, so this would you have to kick this back to planning to agree with this, Tim?
Technically, yes.
Okay. So technically, we might have to kick it back to planning just to once we approve, if we approve anything here, then kicks to planning to give a verification on the color palette. For the
Okay.
historical, but
But I think it is three colors.
Yes.
and, yeah, there's 3 colors, and Tim is a master of ushering those through that committee, so we'll kick it back to Tim for that sort of ushering.
We're meeting tomorrow if you can get your decision
Yeah,
right out.
Right, yeah. Hold the breath on that one.
I'm
Okay.
I'm kidding.
All right, the alleged hardship has been self-created. Okay, the hardship being they want to turn their sign 90 degrees. I,
Yes.
yeah,
I mean, I think my only question that probably can't be answered is why didn't it just start off in this direction anyways, the sign?
yeah. And the technology might not have been there, to be honest with you, for mounting a sign this way. I don't know. I mean, what I don't know about this sign too is what size posts are these gonna be on vertical? You know, I've heard about like projecting, is that projecting over the front edge? I don't really think a sign should go over the front edge of the roof, just over the eaves. But that's something to think about. Self-created, or they kind of inherited this problem and.
History of that building or the sign, so I don't know. It's been Drex as long as I can remember, but
That goes back a little longer than I know.
I believe it was built by Joe and Debbie Sullivan, but
So it's built a while ago.
before I was born, probably.
yes.
The Mittners.
Yeah, yeah.
I said that the existing building, there must have been fire damage or something. Do you remember any of this?
I haven't been in that, but I remember there was a fire there at the Western Auto, there was a Western Auto in
There was a
there.
Western Auto there?
And
that was-
before they moved down here,
That was a 2-story building, right?
yes. When I remember that from college,
The Mittners.
because it was next to, never mind.
No, I like this story. Back in your college days.
You don't wanna go back to my college.
No, go back to your memories of your college days, which are, you know,
Next to, I'm trying to bring the bar up, it was there,
yeah,
Billy's.
okay.
Because I used to have, actually, there was a sub shop at Billy's up there that Con Mahoney used to run years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I used to work for him and they had the bar downstairs.
Yep.
But then
Huh.
It all burned one time.
And then this was built in its place with,
Yeah, well, after I
was
left.
there something in there before?
Well. Yeah, there was, but it'd have to be somebody that lived in town before.
I think they
Sorry, I didn't
demolished.
mean to derail the meeting there.
No, no, it's great.
No.
I don't know, just
I'm curious, like, basically, like, the thing is, I basically inherited this building with its roof structure.
exactly, that's what I was trying
And
to get at.
if if they inherit the building, with the roof structure, they put a sign parallel to the road, because that's probably what was common in the era.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to up their business by
Yeah.
turning the sign 90 degrees.
Yeah.
Okay,
If you care, Drex was where Little Italy is now when I was in college,
oh, really?
yes.
Oh, wow, huh. So they definitely moved in that building intentionally, probably to expand their space.
Oh, so, yeah.
Yeah. actually.
Larger.
Yeah. sunflowers, yeah.
The occupant load, I think, is close to 100, believe it or not.
Is it really? That's a big space.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. What does that mean? Self-created?
This is always a tough one.
Yep.
If they self-create, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It-
These aren't really easy questions.
No.
It's not like, they're just like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. They're all like,
Well,
maybe, if I think
What,
so.
what is self-created? You know, that's a definition.
All right, let's go back. If they'd wanted to change the sign 90 degrees a year ago, could they have done it? Yep,
Yeah.
flat out. Okay, so when they purchased this building,
That option was available to them. When was it available?
we allowed rooftop signs a year ago, didn't we, before the code?
I don't think so.
Then no, we couldn't have done that. Okay, good.
I have to go back in the old code, but like, if we allowed rooftop signs, there'd be a whole lot more,
Yeah, it's true.
you know.
Okay. Okay. So we'll scratch that. Drop that line of inquiry.
Okay,
Okay. So
I could look up joke.
now you're curious. Self-created. Okay. All right, so to summarize where we are on these things, right? On these thoughts. The applicant cannot realize a reasonable return as shown by competent financial evidence. We're saying they feel that they cannot. They feel like they do not present hard numbers, but it's hard to present hard numbers on changing a sign 90 degrees. Let's see here. Is it unique for this property? Yep, pretty much the only rooftop sign in the village, except for Verizon. The requested use of the variance granted will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood. Yeah, pretty much no, it's still the neighborhood's the neighborhood, right? It's still a rooftop sign. It's a change of 90 degrees. And then self-created. That's another one we're on the fence on. Okay, that's kind of what I heard. I heard 2 on the fence and 2 clear thoughts. Okay. Would you like to address this and finalize it? Yes, no? Do you want to now talk about the rear? And then see if we're bundling all together?
I'd like to finalize it.
Alrighty. I have one person putting an opinion out there. We're good to roll. All right. What I'd like to do then is address whether we'd like to allow this change, but we'll talk about conditions at the end, okay? So what I'd like to do is say, yeah, we're gonna allow it, but let's make sure we address any conditions we might have on both situations, okay? All right. All right. Let's see, here's an I vote is like, yeah, let's totally allow them to change it 90 degrees, but we're gonna put conditions on. Or a nay vote is like, no, I think that's gonna, does not match our 4 tests. We'll move on. Pete, you comfortable going first today?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in favor of granting the
Alrighty,
variance.
great. Caitlin?
Aye.
Okay. Mike?
Aye.
Okay, there we are. Okay, Andy, I'm not gonna ask you to vote as the alternate in the situation, okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
We'll talk about the conditions later.
Yeah, we'll talk about conditions later. Let's get through the rear one.
No problem.
And then we can talk conditions if we go from there. Does that work for everyone?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, so Emma, basically, we're gonna say that the turning 90 degrees, it sounds like it's okay. We're gonna put some conditions on it. We'll talk about the conditions after we talk about the rear sign as well, okay? So we wanna make sure we tease out both halves of this, okay?
Yeah. Mhm.
Cool. All right, the rear sign. Rear sign is a 30 square foot direct sub sign sitting on the roof of the rear of the building, okay? The code states.
So just for comparison, what is the square footage of the sign on the front that we just agreed to?
The front square footage sign. But yeah, let me look that up.
I know,
on gable
here,
roof
I have the
front,
application, I'm just.
Yeah. 17 by 96. 11 square feet. The back sign would be close to 3 times that size,
30 square feet.
30 square feet,
Ah, okay.
okay? Mounted on the roof. Facing the back of the building, we have that.
Like a rendering.
Yep, that's the dimensions here. 28 by 156, okay? Cool. Just for reference, something that Bill sent me via email before the last meeting, just so we know size references, because we didn't get into last time. The 7-Eleven gas station sign, the one that's perpendicular to the street, is a 6-foot by 5-foot sign, okay? And the community bank signs, which has 2 lit signs on the back of their building, and both of those signs are 31 square feet. Okay, so this would be similar size to the community bank ones, which are currently facing the parking lot, but are wall mounted.
Yeah, I see.
Okay. Okay. All right. The argument on the rear mounting sign was basically no one knows they're there. Okay, they don't know where to park. When you come in from the parking lot, which as you know, if you walk back there, the parking spots right by them aren't even parking spots, they're dumpsters. You have to park next to it or lot back or down the street. I mean, basically, it's not the best parking lot for accessibility for that building, as we all know. Okay. They're also arguing, the other argument is why the roof is because when you approach that back entrance from the parking lot, you are raised up several feet. So they're hoping to put it like on eye level or just above eye level from that rear entrance. And Emma, can you still hear us okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, any questions about this, guys, before we go through the talking points?
Let me just be clear, if this was a 2-story building or a 3-story building, this would be considered a wall mounted sign.
Yes,
And it would be the same size as the sign to the building next door,
yes,
which is a wall mounted sign
yes,
because it's a taller building.
yes.
I guess I had not realized that. I haven't driven down that back area thought very carefully
Like
about.
both the building's not right to the right of it is the movie theater, has a
Yeah.
big 2-story. To the left of it is whatever that yellow building is, and that's
Yeah.
2 stories.
Yeah.
And then further down is community bank, and
Yeah.
that's 2 stories, has wall mounted lit community sign.
Yeah, okay.
This is in which district are we in here, Tim?
Main Street.
Main Street. So basically a wall mounted sign is square foot for each linear foot of building frontage, up to 72 square feet. Okay, and no individual wall sign shall exceed 32 square feet. Okay, so that's for a wall mount, but we're not talking wall mount.
No, I just wanted, for comparison's sake, I was
That's-
thinking of it.
That's why I want to put it out there.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Cool. Any other questions, guys, before we move on to our 4 points? All right. The applicant cannot realize a reasonable return as shown by competent financial evidence. This lack of return must be substantial.
Again, I'm no expert in this field, but that seems fairly straightforward since there is
Mhm.
0 signage out back right now.
There is a small oval open sign.
Yeah.
That is lit. and that's
Yes,
it.
I did see that.
Yeah,
I did drive down the other day and saw the open side.
yeah, small open, but I'm not sure what is open. Okay, there's no branding on the back of the building. There's no signage on the back of the building. There's nothing to indicate that that building is actually a sub shop.
Yeah.
Okay. So same sort of thing. Excuse me as I take some notes, so I know what I'm talking about later as I try to write this thing up. Okay. Okay. The alleged hardship relating to this property is unique. It's again, a rooftop sign,
1-story building,
1-story building.
dealing with a grade problem out back.
Mhm. Okay, any other thoughts on that one? The requested use, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood. What is the character of that neighborhood?
Eclectic.
Well, if there's signs on buildings on either side of them.
No, no, it's not, just 2 doors down at the community bank, okay? The movie theater has no sign because it's just straight exit only. Post
Community bank,
It goes
Is it-
post office, nothing. It goes movie theater, nothing. Direct subs, which has a small oval open sign.
And the community bank.
community bank is right next to it. though.
Is it right next to, or is there that
No, there's a sidewalk between them.
sidewalk
Right.
Yeah.
That's community bank, then it's that yellow building.
and the yellow building, okay?
Where the
Architects, I think, are in there, I think.
Yeah.
C2A, I think.
Channel
is
7.
in there.
Yeah, in the back half, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And the community bank has a lit sign on it. That's the only one in the back that is lit facing that parking lot. And across the parking lot from that, you have a mural, half of Jubilee. And then you have.
We're
Then you don't wanna go
we're
around the
getting
front of
there.
it.
No, and then you have the library, you have the
Yeah.
library in the Jubilee Center, the Jubilee Building, and then you have, the hair salon and stuff like that. So you have no other lit signs facing that parking lot other than the community bank. Is that everyone else's memory?
Yeah.
I don't think we have a police sign out back, do we?
No.
No, it's not advertised. Like it. Okay. Would it alter the essential character of the neighborhood?
I mean, I think if anything, it might enhance it. Cause there are entrances in most of those things. Well, I mean, the movie theater is an exit only, but there's doors there, and then community bank, that's a entrance. Some of those, and then like you have Midtown here that. I think it would just make it a little bit more like complete.
Right.
Yes, you can go here.
Okay,
And if you look at the rendering, it, just the way it's situated, it's gonna, but what's behind it is gonna be the roof anyway. It's not like you're looking and, on top of a flat building or something.
so you're not seeing it from the back.
No, but I mean, if you look at it in this rendering straight at it.
Yeah.
What's gonna be behind it is shingles.
Okay.
As opposed, you're saying to a flat roof.
Right, right.
Which,
It's not like obscuring like the
Yeah.
skyline of the
Right.
buildings.
Almost, I mean,
Yeah.
it was, if you just if you brought the roof line up, it would be like being mounted on the side of a building.
right, okay. All right. Question for you guys, do you feel like we get the same thing without doing the rooftop? Putting it straight on the wall right there? Doing a 30 square foot sign right above that, that
This
HVAC
right
unit?
here.
I don't. So, a little bit grade, so.
Mhm.
Oh, it would certainly be more visible here than on the wall.
Yeah.
Um,
But it'd be within code if it goes on the back of the building, not on the roof.
mhm.
That's my question, like basically, a use variance is basically saying that we want to change the zoning, and there's one space for right here for
Right.
rooftop signs.
Right.
Let's be clear about what a use variance
Yep.
is. So, and I would just want to make sure that we're thinking about the
Other
options, other options. Can we put it on the wall? Does that create, I mean, it's not as visible, we know that.
Mhm.
But it would be within the code if you put it on the wall. Depending on size, et cetera, but that's all.
Yeah, the HVAC unit is kind of right in the middle, so it would. I don't know if there's room for that.
There's this height
Here.
differential is, because that is like a 30 inch, and this is a full door, it's at least 50 inches here.
I think. I mean, this may not be like proper to say, but I think it looks more aesthetic up here, and it's like, do we, for the sake of saying within code, do we want something to look ugly? Just within the code.
Fair enough. And
Or
so,
freestanding sign closer to the, further away or something?
or freestanding sign basically at the sidewalk or at the edge of their nested parking lot or something like that, or.
Yeah,
How far do you own up that embankment coming up to the parking area?
I'm not familiar with the exact line, but I do know there's like a guardrail right there. I would have to say it's some on our side of that quite a ways. There's like. Go ahead.
I think that guardrail is your property line.
It is, okay. I don't know that I don't know that. Mike would know that, the owner, but
Yeah.
But still, in order to get it up above
Yeah.
plowed snow and parked
Right.
cars, you
then it
know,
sticks way up.
it sticks way up.
Yeah, and there's always
Well, it
that,
might look terrible.
Yeah.
in there, by that guardrail, there are always cars in that area.
Okay. We good on talking about the essential character? Feel like we talked about that one? Okay. What about the alleged hardships been self-created?
I don't think so.
I'm amazed it's been this long, they haven't had any signage. I mean, kind of even like in the doorway or something,
Something,
out
like,
back.
something on that building, yeah.
It's amazing to me,
So lack of signage is amazing to us, but the question is the rooftop
Right.
sign.
right?
Is that having the rooftop sign, something that is, have to be a rooftop sign, or can they get the same return? And we're feeling like, above plowed snow, because of grade.
How big is the one on the front again? It's small. isn't it?
11 square feet,
Okay, and this is,
30 square feet.
I mean, I guess my only question, does it have to be that big?
Well, that's what we would come down to in terms of if we think that we're okay with a rooftop sign.
Yeah.
Then we can talk about size
Okay. all
as
right.
one of our conditions, right?
Yeah, all right.
Saying we're not comfortable with something, but that like, there's other things I would like to address if we're talking about conditions on that. I wanna make sure that we're.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. I mean, how much through traffic are driving by there and drawn in by the sign versus sort of looking for where to go in the entrance or where to park, right?
Exactly.
Versus Route 11 where you might catch somebody who's driving down the road and thinking, where am I gonna stop for lunch, and see the sign? This
So-
is a back alleyway.
It's the back alleyway, you've already parked. All you're trying to figure out which
Which door to go into?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so it's a 30-foot, I mean, is it advertising the fact the building exists to the parking lot? A 30 square foot sign? Or is it, is it a wayfinding sign?
You could
basically?
have directional signage in the parking lot.
Explain.
What's it?
It would only be like 12 square feet though.
So you could,
You know, like. Dunkin' Donuts and,
oh, those things,
yeah, everybody says like this way, but
park and rear, go left for donuts, right? for
Yeah.
KFC,
exactly.
okay. All right. I'm not sure where in that parking lot you put those.
There's not much room to park there.
No,
I think most of the employees park there.
I think so.
I mean, to Andy's point, it's, you've already seen the sign, you've come in and you're around the back and you just wanna make sure that that's the building.
Mhm.
Which I think that's a legitimate.
Sure, yeah.
Request that, so that they have signage on the back. I just come back to whether it needs to be 30 square feet.
They can put signs on their windows, or like on their door.
Yep. Signs on the doors, they can put signs on the wall, those are all allowed, which is a really rooftop.
But as a driver, what's gonna be easier to see? And cause less.
Well,
accidents?
certainly, I think the roof would be easier to see.
Cause we don't want people like driving through, like
And,
turning and
looking,
looking and running
exactly.
over a little old lady who's from the library or my kids. Almost get run
We
over.
want to mention the little old lady,
Yeah.
active fit college kid who's spaced out.
Yeah, what about,
Yeah, that's more likely.
what about little old men with a cane like me?
Yeah. Gendering the person you run over. Whoa.
I haven't seen many college kids back here.
Only when they're lost. And they did not. Not for trek subs. I hear the back entrance is somewhere around here.
Only when they're on my street and they're the hockey house.
Yeah,
And then they try to climb over my fence.
yeah, overkill the tracks.
And I have to like mom shame them and be like, okay, that's a different story. for
Yeah.
another day. Hit me up later if you want to know.
Maybe get better rooftop signage, all right? The hockey club rooftop signage up there.
My kid wasn't one of.
Yeah, I think it. Okay. Okay. So. If we go with a rooftop sign in the back. Is that going to push other businesses in the back there, want to put rooftop signs? Or we basically, I mean, will H&R Block want a rooftop sign? Will, what are the other single story structures? H&R Block, Napa,
What's Midtown?
Midtown.
Napa, put one in, it gets people with boat coming up through me.
You never know what they want.
But yeah, I don't,
Yeah, it is too.
I think it's just H&R Block would be the only one that might.
Maybe not.
Where are you?
yeah, most
So that's Trek,
Yeah.
that's the bank,
Yeah.
this is Midtown Hair Designs.
Midtown's over here.
That's Midtown.
Oh,
the
Midtown,
yellow
I see,
building.
it, sorry, Midtown, I got
The
it.
spa, or the Northern New York
I
spa.
was, yeah, I
whatever
was
it is.
thinking about. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's a possibility, sure.
I
That's
just
a
wouldn't
single
mind if I
story.
stepped out for a minute.
Please
Which
do.
one's that?
Thank you.
The standalone, little square building.
Oh,
used to
somebody
be
dropped their
Hank's
wallet. Oh, Hank.
Barber,
Yeah. okay.
Probably me.
now
Yeah.
called Midtown Hair,
maybe, I don't have one, so.
that's a single story.
Oh, okay.
I have one, I just was curious.
Single
Yeah.
story, single structure,
Right,
it's in the same neighborhood.
yeah.
See anything else down through there? I don't remember.
The KFC, not the KFC, Knights of Columbus. If you're going to start down Minor Street. What about the Gamer Craze? And the old Aubergine building. I mean,
It's a
You-
flat roof versus the.
you're putting a
sloped.
we're talking about putting a rooftop sign facing a area that we're hoping to develop for businesses. Okay. They're all
Or
lis-
eventually, if they do the shopping center over too.
But I don't think I think that they're planning on doing that whole shopping center, but not Gamer Craze. Gamer Craze is not.
Correct, it's, Gamer
Separate.
Craze is contained.
Right, so Gamer Craze has, I mean, a one-story structure.
Yep.
Facing the same parking lot basically that we're talking about here. That comes back to me for changing the essential character of the neighborhood. Okay, that's the only reason I'm bringing it up, because basically think about the whole neighborhood aspect.
Right.
I think that thinking about it as a roof sign, as a increasing business, as. Back to Caitlin's point, it actually probably looks better that way than what it looks like right now, because it actually looks like a business. And we're trying to, like, that's a good thought, it's a sloped roof, it's got shingles behind it, those are all positives. Does it open up the can of worms for us in terms of we just spot zoned basically a rooftop sign on this one building? Or we're basically saying, yeah, you can have one, if you want, you got two, you're okay. But that's just me.
Well, but also this wouldn't be changing the essential character of the district, all the other ones that want to come in. Once they see Drex has this cool new sign, then. Write these other things off too.
Yes, I mean.
But would we want them if we're trying to turn it into like not a creepy shopping, like dilapidated shopping center anymore?
The old ladies walking across the road.
I mean, maybe we want people to have more visible signs and make it look like we're a hop in town.
Vegas.
All EMCs,
All the time,
all the time.
all the time.
Only to get casino too, Tim. Alright. Cool. Any other questions or anything, any other points that we want to bring up about this rear sign? Okay, cool. You guys feel comfortable voting on the idea of this sign without conditions, and we go to conditions? You comfortable there?
Yep.
Mike, you wanna go first this round?
I say we allow it.
Galen?
Aye.
Yeah.
Andy, you got folk?
Do I need to break a tie today?
No need to break a tie. Um. I'm voting aye on the front one and nay on the back one. Mike, but now we write our conditions. Alrighty. Conditions. Let's roll with it. Let's go reverse order. Let's go back first. Okay?
Yeah.
Alright, what sort of conditions do we wanna roll on this back sign?
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright. Now, this is Main Street District, okay? Since rooftop signs are not allowed, there are no code sizes on rooftop signs. Okay? So,
Nothing to see there.
nothing to see there. There's no guidelines for that one. Okay. What are our conditions? Because we leave it wide open. It's wide open. Okay, so we want smaller. What size? Let me talk about in this district, okay? No individual wall sign should exceed 32 square feet, okay? Maximum projecting sign area per sign is 12 square feet. Freestanding signs are not permitted. Tim, when it says like no maximum projecting sign area per sign, that's like a building and sign sticking out like that, right?
Perpendicular sign.
That'd be a good word to use. Like situation like that. Okay, and what about a sign like this? Is that? All right, so
Actually,
basically,
this one, they talk about projecting sign, they don't call it perpendicular.
no, they're projecting, so that's what I was checking on, yeah. So basically, in the Main Street District, they have a maximum for projecting signs of 12 square feet. For wall-mounted signs, we have 32 square feet. The rooftop sign we're talking about putting up on the front is a projecting sign. They're specing something that's 11 point whatever square feet. What do you guys think? I'm pretty comfortable putting down, if we're gonna do a condition on it, say that they has to be 12 square feet or less.
but that's the size of the one in front that's supposed to
In the traffic,
get the traffic in.
driving by.
Right,
Right.
Nobody's going by here very quickly. Either if you're driving, you're doing 10 miles an hour.
yeah,
Or you park your car and you're walking.
right.
so it sounds like this rear one is just kind of to show where the entryway is.
Yeah.
to the
This is
thing.
the building
Yeah, no,
that you
So-
passed on the
so,
front,
yeah.
on Main Street.
so obviously you don't need, that big a sign, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, but,
I mean, a wall-mounted sign, same district, they can go 32 square feet. Yeah, but a projecting sign is 12 square feet. A rooftop sign doesn't exist. So do we feel rooftop sign should be bigger, smaller, same size? That's kind of what our conditions are we have to think about in terms of in this situation. What do you guys think?
I just wonder if 12 square feet is gonna be too small
Mhm.
to get to achieve what they want to achieve and to avoid hitting that over.
what are the dimensions of the front sign? I know it's 11 square feet, but.
Yeah.
17 by 96.
Okay. 17, that's,
17 inches high, right?
that's not very,
So there'll be,
you know,
But you get rid of the, parking in rear.
right,
I mean, would you need is direct just enough? Would you need the sub behind it? Is it pretty much self-explanatory? In terms of using if you went to the smaller under 12 square feet.
I would let them make that decision
Right.
based on their branding.
Yeah, I'd say it's a branding question. So
Yeah.
they're changing their logo to match
Right.
the other places, and I wouldn't want to put restrictions
Yeah.
on
No,
their
what they say.
logo, right?
Right.
Unless the words were offensive in some way, but.
no, that won't, we're not there.
So the height wise, the front one is 17 inches?
Yep.
And this one's 28?
Yep.
So it's what, adding, just 11 inches?
Yep. Or we say it's basically like a wall mounted sign, they can't exceed 32 square feet, are we putting in,
Cause if this was a 2-story building, they could have.
Mhm.
Correct.
And they can on a one-story building too, they can just put that big 32 square foot sign on that single wall.
Well,
To put a full wall there.
Oh,
fake
the
wall.
facade,
Yeah.
build the facade up one story and then put the big 32 square footer on there.
Would you allow that, Tim?
it's really, at this juncture, it's the people around the table.
Okay, so our recommendation was
I
build a
just
full
follow the
wall.
code.
No, I rescind that.
But to your point, they'd still have that option, if they really,
I watched too
went
many
into the
westerns.
Larger sign, they could conceivably see how they could fit it in there, it wouldn't be the best, but they'd have a choice. Either a 12 square foot one or less on the roof, or they need bigger, they'll have to figure out a way to put it on the wall.
You're talking in the front.
To the rear.
In the rear, in the
So
rear.
we're talking the rear sign right now, because we're trying to figure out what size square footage to allow, because I mean, the code doesn't allow us a rooftop sign.
Right, so you're applying like the,
We're trying to
yeah.
figure out, like,
yeah, I
basically,
understood that.
yeah, so, I mean, it's 12 foot on the projecting, it's 32 square foot on the wall. Where's that happy medium between the two? What makes the most sense for this variance in this situation? With the goal being wayfinding, getting people into that space, right?
We have 72 square feet total to deal with. Cumulative signs,
Per lot, right?
so they probably meet that, yeah, so you got 12 and
Yeah, they 12 out front.
30, yeah.
Yeah, so they're under that one, right? But since it's projected, the question is, do we consider more of a projecting sign or of a wall sign?
Well, the rooftop sign is in compliance with what we're talking about, it's a perpendicular sign, which is a projection sign.
Right.
They're in compliance, and actually it looks from the imagery, the rendering, it doesn't look bad.
Which one, the front one?
Yeah, if
Yeah.
that's 12, if that's
Yeah.
12 square feet.
Mhm.
I don't know, but I really shouldn't give an opinion, because,
You've given your opinions, right?
no, I can't give an opinion.
No, I mean, the front one is under 12 square feet, the back one is at 30 square feet. And the question is, on the variance for the back one, what size constraints or any do we want to put around this? We need to put down something so that it's clear, so Tim can enforce whatever we decide. It's unfair to Tim to kick back saying, go do something with no
Right.
guidance.
Well, community bank, is it truly a 30 square feet?
According to Bill,
Oh,
the sign guy,
okay,
Bill, I don't know if he shot it with lasers or what. Community bank has 2 lit signs in the back that face the parking lot. The community signs are also lit and are 31 square feet in size. That was his email to me on the 7th of September.
right.
Yeah.
That's a tough call. I mean, I think you're on the right track, like, it would be the right application.
For the projecting sign?
Yeah. I mean, no, the projecting sign makes sense but of course, you're putting this in the back, you're putting a bigger sign in the back than you have in the front.
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out.
Right.
What are you guys comfortable with? Do we feel like the bigger sign impacts the neighborhood at all? We are trying to mitigate any sort of impact.
I
That's
think
good.
one of my concerns would be, by this picture, it looks like it stays within the group, so if that's accurate,
In terms of height.
yeah. But I mean, I don't think we want something that's like way up here, that's saying direct, like, I think,
that that's a very clear point. I think that we do not want to see the corner of this sign from the front of the building.
Yeah.
Okay. So whatever structure goes in there, it has to be non-visible from the front of the building. Okay,
Oh, I see what you're saying, you don't want it to project over the roof line.
exactly.
Right, yeah, but you below the roof line, so.
Yeah, you could.
And I don't think it has to be too high because of the change in elevation, right? So
Yeah,
you're, you're looking down from the drive or the parking area to the direct, so
Yeah,
it
'cause
doesn't,
you're higher up.
you're already higher up, so it doesn't need to
Right.
protrude above the roof line of the building.
Yeah, if you're standing across the street staring at the front of Drex, I don't want to see a corner of a.
Yeah. The
of a
back, the back
sign.
of it.
No, I don't want that projecting above.
Especially if you come out of the movie theater.
Yeah. something like that, yeah. Okay. That's probably our biggest concern on the size. That's why I'm trying to limit them to something smaller.
I know that we're talking about this sign, but are we making a precedent, what we're gonna use kind of, if somebody else comes in here now and say,
Yep.
okay, well, we allow 12 by 12 or
Yep.
15 by 15 or
Yep.
whatever.
That is
So
one
it's,
of our
so it's
concerns.
down,
Downstream.
yeah, and we don't have this problem next time.
Right.
But also I think it's kind of relative to the building, because I'm just thinking of like Midtown and like, I'm just feeling like, remember like Lincoln Logs and the little signs that you put on the building? It's like, you don't wanna have like a ridiculous, you don't want Midtown to have like a ridiculously. It could be the very same size as Drex, but because Midtown's such a smaller building, it looks silly.
Right.
So I don't know if like it would have, we wanna like say proportionate to the building somehow.
I think they address that here with,
And the size of the wall sign. 1 square foot per each linear foot of building frontage. And that's so the wall signage is addressed. That's an interesting question. How long is that wall?
it's got the, and bring up the deck,
Because of that wall, we can follow that code, right?
yeah,
So 1 square foot for each linear foot of, so basically, if that is only 28 feet long, then that sign needs to be limited to 28 square feet according to a wall sign.
Well, this is, you got,
but it's longer than
I
that.
bet you this too,
okay, but this sign is,
drawn as.
30 square feet, so.
Right.
I don't know, and it goes, it's kind of centered. I'm just trying to figure out what kind of,
Proportions.
the wall that might be, so it's.
Signs are fun, guys.
Yeah.
Just got an element today, are you please?
EMC.
No, this is just an area variance.
Yeah, I guess for me, to some degree, I'm struggling with why the sign in the rear of the building needs to be so much larger than the sign in the front of the building.
Okay.
And I agree to some degree with Pete's suggestion, if we put a smaller variance on it, they have a choice of either putting a sign that size on the wall,
Mhm.
which meets code, or following our guidelines of something smaller on the roof.
Okay.
So we haven't impacted them dramatically by those two
Mhm.
things. But
I like that idea too, but we gotta come up with a size.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's the thing.
here's my proposal, and we can vote on this or not. My proposal is basically limit them to 12 square feet, following the code for projecting signs in the Main Street zoning district. Since there are no codes for rooftop signs, it's not allowed. The 12 square feet, rationalizing that it still creates wayfinding, but it's not the large advertising sign that the 30 square foot might be. That I would like, that would be proposal 1. Proposal 2 would be, we limit them to whatever square, if we can find out the length of that building. We might be able to limit it to like 22 square feet or something like that, depending on the length of that, the linear footage of that building.
You looking it up, Andy?
I'm not doing very well.
Here, let me help you. I was trying to do it on my phone.
Emma, any questions right now?
No, sorry, I'm not more familiar with the property. I wish I could like rattle off that number for you, but.
No, you're fine. You're fine. This is just minutia details, like as you can see, we're just trying to work through what makes the most sense. But
We're thinking now percentage. You're trying to-
So what it is, that is the code for
I
wall
see.
signs says for every
Yeah.
linear foot, you're allowed a square foot.
Oh,
So
okay,
this is only 20 feet, they'd be limited for a wall sign of 20 square feet.
yeah,
So basically, it all depends on what linear footage they have.
yeah,
So, but if it's like greater than
82.
435
82 Main
feet,
Street.
then it's like, that's the way it is,
Yeah.
like, it's fine.
Yeah, it might go quicker. There you go. You might have to put Canton in. There you go.
So
Okay,
that
now,
has the building footprints on there too, Tim?
Actually, go here. And then go down to imagery labels. And, oops, X out of that.
As Tim and
click on
Andy
that.
look for that, you guys, it's gonna be 8:10, 8:15 by the time we wrap this up. Are we gonna wanna try to tackle the
Let's
Presbyterian
zoom
church
in on
tonight?
that
Or are we gonna want
I think we should just do it.
a little more. Okay, that's good.
Done.
Now, Click on this thing down here.
We tabled it the last time, I don't know.
Special
so it's-
measure.
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
Don't
Click
ask
there.
me, I got nothing.
You're good?
This is kind
You
of
just go all the way to the
a
edge of
day
the
for me
property.
here.
62 feet.
Oh, I did go
62
fill up my
feet.
truck today.
Right, so 62 feet is basically, basically they're 1 square foot per linear foot, so that wouldn't limit them at all. No, okay, okay. All right, so my proposal then is to look at a 12 square foot projecting sign following the code for protecting signs in the Main Street district, allowing this rooftop sign in the back because of the slope of et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It is a small sign, we know that, it would be the same size as the front sign. Allowing for the understanding that if they wanted to put a bigger sign on the wall itself and see how their renderings were, that is within code and that is acceptable. I'm gonna put that proposal that we're gonna condition would be a 12 square foot roof sign on the rear. Let's go ahead and do a quick vote on that and see if we can agree with that condition.
I agree.
Yes.
Yes.
Alrighty. That passed unanimously. So that's a 12, that is 12 square foot,
You're going with 12 square feet in the rear too?
12 square feet in the rear. That's just the rear sign we're talking about right now, yeah. So we're basically calling it a projecting sign, okay? Even though it's a parallel to the road, we're calling it a projecting sign on the roof. Okay,
Interesting.
we are interesting people.
Yes.
And the adverse, the adverse impact we're trying to minimize is basically, is visible from the front and changing the character of the neighborhood. And basically, that sort of thing. Is that kind of what we're thinking on that one?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Front sign, conditions. The front sign we talked about basically turning it 90 degrees. It was a 12 square foot sign as drawn. Are there any conditions we want to put on this thing?
You had talked about, height or.
The height of the sign itself, okay? We don't want it not overhanging the front edge.
Right, and that was my one
Yeah.
concern, is it would stick out over the front even of
Yeah.
the building.
Okay.
It doesn't look so in the rendering, but I just want to be clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rear edge as close as possible to the roof line. Okay, so it's not like launched up there like 6 feet, basically. Okay. Back edge. Close to roof. Okay. Colors, we'll put in, I mean, the colors we have basically. Colors match. Historic district, right? HDU. Lights. Are there code standards for non-EMC lit signs in the village? Thing?
Yeah, it's under illumination.
Great, we'll just say that we follow the illumination
Guidelines, yeah.
all illumination.
Want to look that up?
No, we'll just say it has to be followed. I mean, we're not gonna change any code there, we're just gonna say.
Whatever the code is.
Make it so.
In terms of.
Work smart.
Right. What else? Do we have any conditions, guys, for the front signs? Anything you wanna address? I mean, we're talking about make sure it's not hanging over the front edge, make sure it's.
Not sticking way up high, right? You sort of address that by the back
By the
edge.
back right edge.
Because it's gonna be higher than the existing.
It
sign,
is.
Just by virtue of turning it sideways, it has to be higher.
Right,
We don't want it to stick
right, we don't,
10 feet over the top. of the
No.
building.
You know,
I don't know how to describe it.
getting back to illumination,
yes,
I think that's the only place where you're allowed to illuminate signs is in the,
Main Street,
commercial corridor and technology and light industrial.
okay,
Just letting you know, so you're basically you're non-conforming again. I mean, but you're essentially taking a lit sign,
making it lit,
not like it wasn't lit before.
It is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is formally
Okay, so the front sign, we're basically just turning 90 degrees and allowing this to continue being lit. The back sign, I need to put illumination guidelines on. Right? They kind of follow whatever the guidelines are coded per se. Right? That sounds reasonable, my board. All right, so I need to write that in there too. No, okay. Colors match HD lights, follow illumination guidelines. Emma, just so we're clear, I still have another 45 days for the official documentation on the decision. So it's gonna take me a little bit of time to write up everything, just so you know. Okay, what's going on?
I understand.
Oh, good. All right, other thoughts, anything else on conditions wise on the front, so that we're trying to minimize the impact of the neighborhood on? No, we're good?
I think so.
You got the ones I was working on, so
Okay.
that's good.
Great, sweet, all right. That one is put to bed then. All right, that is direct subs. Emma, to summarize, basically, pending conditions on location of the front sign, we are going to pass the variance of turning that 90 degrees. The back one, we are considering a projecting sign and therefore following the main street size restrictions for a projecting sign, which is 12 square feet. We encourage direct subs to look into a wall mounted sign for a larger sign if that is something that would work there. And the illumination guidelines will be forthcoming in terms of the amount of nits that are allowable in this situation. Does
Okay,
that make sense?
yes,
And that is just a verbal communication. That is not the final written verification. The final written verification will have to go to Tim. And then once Tim receives it and the village receives it, then it is in your court and you can move forward on things.
nice.
Okay?
Sounds great, thank you.
All right, thanks, Emma. Awesome. All right, so that is direct subs. I have two people saying, let's just push through and take care of Presbyterian Church. My other two participants, we guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, all righty. All right, let's go ahead and pick back up Presbyterian Church for our conversation. Last time, just to refresh our memories where we were. We were here talking about the Presbyterian Church. We had decided that we were okay with the idea of an EMC. However, we were very clear that we wanted to know a little more and talk about conditions of that EMC before we had a final decision on the matter. So we've received an email. Mike, do you happen to, you communicate to me, do you happen to have a printout or a rendering of the proposed? Thanks.
On the job here.
Okay. Okay.
This is all off the Benjamin Moore colonial, whatever color palette. Tim has a slightly older version of it that covers it, but I believe the colors are the same. This adds about 15% increase, basically about a $30,000 fine. Try to get away from it, like a stark television set, and that's going to be pressure treated with vinyl. Covered post painted, finials. The sign on the top is that a permanent sign. Not very tall, it's 18 inches to the hump, so it's probably, I don't know, just 12 a foot, the lettering.
On the church on the park sign lettering. Okay, all right.
So we lowered the digital sign.
Okay.
And then, we get too far ahead of ourselves, but we probably like some kind of flower box, not unlike what the library has up front. If only to keep people away from the sign.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little concerned about students. You know what?
Hooligans
Don't
nowadays.
get me started. You don't live on Park Street.
I do not live on Park Street.
I don't know what else we could do to make it fit in better.
Yep.
Certainly open to, I went and had a meeting with them last week and talked to Tim a couple times, went to Coakley's, got the stuff, had my wife pick out the colors. And, got right back to the sign guy, he mocked it up and I sent it right out to
Me.
y'all.
There it is. So that's a sandblasted, high density design.
Thank you. Awesome.
Really? Okay. Good.
Yeah, the three color thing.
I'm gonna start.
Okay.
I do remember that. Three color. Yeah, I wasn't, was that the Black Lives Matter?
Mike, is
Yeah.
this something that
That was-
will be lit
that was-
24/7?
No.
No.
No, just a static unlit sign.
I was gonna say, if it's not lit, that would maybe deter
So it's-
kids from.
Yeah, no, I
Right.
know.
Yeah.
Well, under that.
So explain to me again, you're saying that that EMC is static unlit?
No, I thought he meant
The top part,
top part, yeah.
the top part is unlit, the
Yeah.
EMC part is lit, right? Yeah, that's the EMC, yeah. It's like, what?
Made a lot of money for a blank screen.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering about that myself. That's why I want to clarify.
I will say to you, just because it was news to me, their color palette. The actual Benjamin Moore historical color collection
Mhm.
is about 200 colors.
Yep.
What's in the book is about 30 or 40.
Okay.
So we went with the book, which is a smaller sample.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's delineated somewhere, whether it's the whole thing. And I don't need an answer.
Well,
I'm just telling,
Okay. That is something that,
in
that,
case-
the planning board will actually have to.
yeah, weigh in on that one.
well, I'm just saying, I assume they did. I just don't know if it's conveyed, I didn't realize it.
So you got into it.
Well,
Alrighty, so. For some reason, I cannot find my original application. From Mike.
There.
You have it right there?
That's helpful.
Here you go.
Save your email.
Here's everything. Here's the application.
Thanks,
We'll shoot.
thank you. Okay. The EMC as drawn. Is that 41 by 63? Okay. Oh, that's drawn. Is that EMC slightly bigger on the rendering than the original? Is that 5'3"? So that's 63. That's 63.
Same, it's
That's
the
63.
same size, the smallest EMC they sell.
Yep. Okay, 7-year-old 37 square foot. Okay. Mike, do you happen to know the 37 square foot sign? Is that including all the masonry?
Probably, yes.
Okay.
I mean, I think
I
we're,
didn't get able to measure, so I was wondering what the actual like square footage of that white aspect. Versus
yeah,
the.
and I don't know what
that-
you're counting, but. In just looking at it in broad strokes, they're about the same size,
That looks pretty similar to me in terms
but it's
of,
obviously a lot less of an edifice.
right.
Sure.
So I was trying to figure out, like, basically I was having a hard time rendering the tube in my head because of the projection scales, basically the size of the screen itself versus the size of the old screen, basically.
Right.
The static screen. That was my only like.
Yeah, I
they're
don't
probably-
know.
They're probably selling, Mike. I was just curious. I didn't know if you at some point had measured and like, oh, no, I remember that. So I never got over the measure, so sorry about that. All right, cool. So. All right. Here we are. Last time. On the previous episode, we discussed. We talked about realizing the reasonable return. We had a bunch of stuff from Mike about the membership things, alleged hardship. We feel like, that this is, we were like, on the fence on this one, on uniqueness, because of a lot of other properties, but we're like, it's masonry. Essentially, alter the essential character. We thought it wouldn't change the essential character based on the look and feel of the sign. But we were very clear, we're concerned about the light implications to the neighborhood. And was it self-created? No, because the sign was kind of inherited and it's crumbling. We basically moved forward on signs. so we were now talking about, at this stage, conditions, okay? All right, now, this is neighborhood mixed use, okay? This is a freestanding sign, neighborhood mixed use. Okay, the proposed sign in front of us is overall height, looks like about 8 feet tall. 4 feet plus 3.5 feet plus 18 inches, 9 feet tall to top of the finials, it looks like. Okay. Overall width of the sign proposed before us is 5'3", 63 inches on the EMC plus the 2 posts. So call it just shy of 6 feet. Okay. All right. Neighborhood mixed use. We have certain code sizes that we allow for freestanding signs, etc. Okay. All right. So let's take this in 2 parts on our conditions. Let's look at the EMC in terms of we're allowing an EMC thing, but let's talk about how we want to manage or condition any sort of EMCs in this neighborhood. And 2, let's talk about the sign itself as a freestanding sign in the neighborhood mixed use. Okay, does that sound reasonable to everyone? Does everyone see any other talking points on this one? No, we're good. Jenny, are you okay staying a little later? I said 8:30 originally. Okay.
Yeah, all right.
All right, thank you.
Cool.
Then you good?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So. EMCs, okay? And where are we at? What number are we for illumination for EMCs? What illuminations?
Okay. Oh, look in your, look in the permit. It's, should be the section. It should be in here where it's denied.
325, 60. EMCs, description any sign containing stuff. We have EMC standards. Only 1 EMC size allowed per lot, okay? Message duration and motion. The message or copy EMC can be static, can't change more than once in a 24-hour period. Dimming. EMCs must include a photo cell to control brightness and automatically dim based on ambient light. Okay. Colors. EMC message or copy should not be more than 2 colors per message. Okay. All right. So if it's being displayed according to code on EMCs, it can't be more than 2 colors. Okay. Brightness, the maximum allowable brightness for EMC is no greater than 0.3 foot candles above ambient light conditions as measured by a foot candle meter. Okay, which means at nighttime, if it's being measured, at a distance determined by the formula, measured distance, okay, there's a lovely formula there for them to figure out, okay? And light trespass, at property lines, light trespass from EMC should be no more than 0.5 foot candles, okay? Now, based on this location, the property lines are, Tim, I don't know what that means. If you're measuring a property line and you're facing a street, do you measure at the far side of the street?
Where are you reading?
Light trespass. F. $325.
E.
EF. E. $325.
Oh,
3.
66E.
Guys, are there any other conditions we want to put around this? I mean, it's 2 colors. I mean, do we want to specify the colors have to be in the historical color palette?
They are.
Oh, you mean the.
Of the EMC, no, yeah, not the sign, like the EMC.
So the code requires it, you can only change the sign once per day,
Once per day,
and it can only use two
Two
colors.
yes.
So this
That's
sign
restrictive
wouldn't be,
enough.
That
So
changes, that
that's
changes,
not what I'm about.
yeah, my opinion a little bit. I was sort of worried about a variety of other aspects of this, but that limits it enough that
Yeah.
Yeah.
This wouldn't be allowed.
just allows them to.
Basically,
As
yeah,
you point out, the activities that
the
are happening for the
American
day
flag
or
wouldn't
the-
be
the flag
allowed.
and eagle is not allowed too many colors.
But if you're listing the name of the sermon or the activities for the day.
Hot pink and purple. You can run both. They can't run hot pink, purple and green. Those don't go.
Got it, got it.
got unicorns in there too.
Only if it's hot pink or purple.
Separation of church and state.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I don't think we need to restrict any more on what the EMC says. If we're gonna allow the EMC, I think that the code is pretty.
Yeah.
Clear on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay. Well, that was easy on that one. Let's go to the next one.
So getting back to that
Yes,
property line issue,
yeah,
it's just basically they're saying that. You know, no more than 0.5 foot candle can project beyond the property line, I believe.
exactly. Now,
So the property line's a sidewalk?
that's my question. Where is the property line if your sign is facing the sidewalk of the street?
I think it's the curb, actually.
That's
I
fine.
thought it was the
No,
center of the
actually-
street.
So,
That's where I've heard, but. that
No,
might be
wait a
different.
minute.
What's the
The
difference?
inside edge of the sidewalk. I think is a property line, because the rest of it is the right of way. From the property, from the. Inside edge of the to the sidewalk to the curb is the right of way. So I would say you can't project beyond the sidewalk more than.
0.5 foot candles.
Exactly.
Okay,
Who's gonna, I don't even know the leg meter.
sounds like you might be,
You might need to buy one.
sounds like the village might be buying one. So I think that is that is something that we should be aware of for light trespass, okay? So where is the property line is a question that can be asked, but I think that is.
Property line is actually in the street. If you look at the old.
the
It's
old-
usually like the right of way, like your property. Line actually might end at the edge of the sidewalk, but you're supposed to maintain that area like that median strip.
I don't think it's gonna be an issue.
Right, exactly. This is not a
Yeah.
big deal. This is much more curiosity about where you.
And we can look it up on deck if we really.
I'm not worried about it right now. Okay. All right.
We're talking about 3 feet.
All right. Now,
Maybe 6 feet.
next question. Okay, this is a neighborhood mixed use, okay? This is a sign in the neighborhood mixed use. The code for signage, I do want to address this, make sure we're very clear, because we're putting up an EMC, but it's also a sign. It should probably follow sign guidelines. Is that something that we address here, guys, or do we kick it back to Tim saying we're allowing a freestanding sign, Tim deals with it? That's my question. I think we're allowing an EMC, we're not allowing us,
They already had a freestanding sign.
right? Okay, so. My question for you, Tim, is if this sign comes before you. Are you gonna kick it back to us on an area variance?
Are we, I think we're less.
Overall height projection is greater than that,
What's the total height?
8 feet,
What are we allowed in that district?
6.
Oh, yeah.
We'll put it whatever you want. You just tell us what you want, we'll do it.
What was the existing sign?
I'm trying to avoid a kickback to us.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a
I'm trying to
conclusion.
make sure that if I don't need to put conditions on the ZBA variance, let's avoid that, but if I need to say, let's put that condition in play, then put that in play. I'm trying to avoid.
Want it 6 foot, we'll make it 6 feet.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to keep it
Can
the
I put on
same,
the back of a trailer, please? And
you
drag it
gotta
on?
keep it the same height of the existing sign.
Existing sign, okay, so we can basically say, height of existing sign or follow, code, right?
What is the code?
6 feet.
So, can we
Is
just
that what
put
it says
6 feet?
in NMU? Oh, yeah,
Can we just put follow existing code of 6 feet.
Actually, it looks like it's 6 feet. Well, maybe 5 something.
If your current sign is 6'8", you can put it 6'8", basically is what we're saying. So you just.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you just decide basically height of existing sign.
You just can't make any larger than the, so just do what's to your
Does
advantage.
that include the finials?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Cause we'll take the finials off. I mean, I,
No, don't leave the finials on.
Okay.
It looks nice without.
well, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, what we had before was closer to what you're trying to do now. So now we've made it wider by 8 inches. We made it taller based on the finials.
Mhm.
I mean, we could put the static sign below it.
No, you don't wanna do that.
Well, I think the thing is basically the proposed drawing works well for the board.
Yeah.
The question is basically what we're trying to avoid is the kickback to the ZBA board on a area variance at any point. So what we'd like is we'd like the drawing that's been created, we'd like the EMC guidelines, and now the question is, what can we create here now? So we don't have to come back and re-meet on an area variance later. And so the question is basically, we did not talk about the sign size at the last meeting. Okay, so now that we have a mock-up, we can address the sign size. Sign size, according to code, is 6 feet from grade, okay? Now, it's also only 12 square foot on an overall size. This is bigger than 12 feet, but the pre-existing sign is bigger. Now, if the pre-existing sign is 5'8", we can go up to 6 feet. If the pre-existing sign is 6'3", we can go up to 6'3". Okay, but the size is gonna be smaller than the existing one, so we're fine for overall size. We're inside, we're basically exceeding the allowable area of the overall sign.
I don't
But
think,
we're-
I don't think it is an area variance. Tim and I went through this. The only issue that when we first looked at this was the fact that it was an EMC. So,
It'd be use.
Okay.
As long as the area.
right, a use variance, but not an area variance.
Okay.
I mean, are you saying it's it's
I'm
violating?
saying that basically, if you go over 6 feet, I'm worried that it might
When
activate
you
that.
say go over 6 feet, go over
Height.
6 feet
Height.
high.
Height.
Okay, well, just say, let's not make it higher than 6 feet of the
Okay,
existing
good.
sign, and then it
Right.
won't be an
Right.
area
Or maybe
variance, and it won't be an
Make
issue.
it no higher than the existing sign,
Whatever that
cause
is.
that would be,
Mhm. Yep.
yeah,
That's where we're
even if it was higher than 6, if the existing sign was higher than 6 feet, you still could use it. But
So
if
what
you're,
the counters do is try to give them as much flexibility as possible.
yeah,
Right.
if you're, if what's there now is 6.5 feet,
Might as well make it 6.5 feet.
might as well, get that,
That's fine.
just match with what you've got, everything will be good. And if it's less, then your cap is 6 feet. So you got some flexibility.
Yeah, trying to get flexibility, so we're good, we have the flexibility built in there. All right, now. Okay, so the EMC sign basically, at this stage, our only conditions are follow the EMC guidelines as written in the code for EMC signs. And, the overall, and basically. Don't exceed the existing sign size or the code stated height requirements, whichever one is greater,
Mhm.
right? Okay, so there's no need for any sort of area variance, because we're gonna follow the sign code.
As long as you're the same size as the existing sign. I mean, you're not greater than the existing sign. In area.
Counting the masonry in the existing sign, we're smaller than the existing sign, because we're removing the mason, I assume you're getting rid of the masonry, right?
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying, that
Yeah.
sign is so enormous, we're not even anywhere
It's not-
near that.
You're right, it's not, so it's a replacement of a smaller piece.
I mean, if
Okay,
you're gonna talk about the sign, then we need to, then you disregard everything else here. I mean, you gotta either, it's apples or oranges.
okay. All right. Is there anything else from the board on the use variance for this? Okay, so my understanding is that we are allowing the EMC to be erected at the Presbyterian Church, allowing the use variance for a sign as drawn. Pretty much, following the EMC guidelines and, existing code for freestanding signs in the neighborhood mixed use. Correct?
Yep.
That's correct, right? Yeah, good. Okay, so that puts to bed the three ones we heard last. Agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Awesome, thank you so much. Perfect.
So
Okay.
when should I feel comfortable taking a sledgehammer to that or dropping $30,000 on it?
As soon as I give you the written approval, okay, I need to write up the findings, okay? That will get done the next week or two, and then you can start taking a sledge, okay? So my written report will go to both you and to Tim.
All right.
And then you can,
And Tim will issue, based on that, Tim issues a building permit
Exactly. Sign permit.
or sign permit.
Are we returning the colors to the planning board?
They are your colors.
does the planning board, Tim, does the planning board need to oversee the colors on a sign, being built in the? That is a question that
Yes.
okay, that's a question you and I can have to have then, okay?
The planning board does that.
Okay, and what does an applicant need to do to get it before the planning board?
So let me just tell you from the applicant perspective.
It's a pain in the ass.
So you told me it's gotta be a certain color palette. You sent me the color palette. I picked the colors from the color palette. And those colors are the colors that the planning board.
Actually, it wasn't the planning board that picked, it was the board of trustees who picked. And they actually only picked the colors that were in this.
Right, and that's where they're from. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
So why is it going before planning? Is that a question?
Well, here's my concern. This application was denied in June. And it's a 6-week turnaround on the sign. So it's October. The ground's gonna freeze and we're gonna be done.
From the ZBA perspective, I hear your frustration now, okay? And we do what we can to move things forward in terms of what we've been looking at with this. This is a complicated situation, as you know.
I understand that, but I mean-
Let me get through, okay? All right? You've been very patient with me, I know, over email in terms of getting these things through. When things didn't get followed up on, you reached out to me and we realized we'd missed something and we got things moving forward, okay? The understanding going before planning board is a new process for me. I don't fully understand why we go back to planning, but that's outside the ZBA's purview. From an applicant's perspective, I would say it's totally pain in the ass in what you're looking at, okay? But I'm trying to figure out basically,
When is the planning board meeting? Tomorrow, you said?
There is one tomorrow night, yeah.
But will that be before then? Can that be before? Then? I understand your position.
It's up, what do you think, Jenny? It'll be a very question.
let me send that drawing off to Barry and see if we can get Barry to discuss it tomorrow night, because there's no reason for it to sit around because it.
Exactly.
He is set, these are
It's
things,
standard, yeah.
it's standard, it should be.
I think I might have even sent
It already,
an email to Barry.
it already went to Barry once. Let me reach out to Barry to see if Barry can hold the conversation tomorrow night to get that taken care of, so it's not a roadblock.
They
Okay?
could have a discussion.
Okay. Let me reach out to Barry and see what happens, and I can get back to you, Mike, tomorrow in terms of whether I hear back from Barry. I'm sure you know Barry. Do you know Barry?
Well, it just seems like,
His name on the application.
I mean, what has to be approved? If those are the colors you want people to pick from, and then they pick from, then they have to be approved. I mean,
So,
Yeah,
point.
exactly.
yeah, exactly.
That's my thing.
Well, what I didn't understand, that there was more colors.
well, that's why I told you, because it was a shock to me. I mean, that was a Copley's person telling me, no, this is the historical palette. So, and the further slice it, you have an older version of it, of that book. So there's another version, our colors are different. You have a stairwell and I have something else on it.
Right.
But the colors are the same. But I'm just saying, if you're gonna start slicing bologna that thin, then you better have a current book, because that book's not current.
Yeah, but that's what they're not gonna go back to.
I understand.
It'd have to go before the board of trustees, because actually the board of
All right.
trustees, yeah,
I think that the ZBA can finalize the meeting.
Thank you.
Move on.
and I think the plan.
I'm buying ice cream. No, let's go. Oh, they're closed.
They're closed.
Let's go to Dave's. Oh, Dave's is closed too.
Thanks,
Stewart's.
Mike.
Yeah,
Thanks, Mike. See you.
hey, Mike.
So we adjourned it.
We adjourned.
40
Yeah.
something.
Go direct, yeah. Mike's by substance.
If I can find the location.
Just can't find the door.
It's a small oval. Open that. Mike, can you get out of there?
I'm out.
You're out. How those knees doing?
They tell me well. Some days it doesn't feel so good, but,
Yeah, I can imagine.
but it's not, I usually just have discomfort, not pain.